So I'm no economist, but I think that you don't have to be an economist to understand why Britain's booming economy since Brexit is eminently explainable through the movement of people. For example, Bloomberg Opinion in March. Europeans are leaving Britain, brackets, poorer. Shunning low-skilled labour the UK is doing post-Brexit is a monumental act of self-harm. How? How is it bad that the low-skilled labourers from other countries go back to those countries? I mean, it only matters if all you think is important is the gross domestic product of a country. If the way that these resources are stratified in society doesn't matter, then yeah, I guess you'd be like, look, when we've got a chart of all of GDP across the world, Britain has slipped from 5th to 6th or something like that. It's like, okay, but if I'm living in that country and the wealth is concentrated at the top and there is excessive competition for it at the bottom, then that's bad for me because I'm not at the fucking top. I'm not some sort of, high-flying business owner or anything. And the thing is, that is exactly how they're viewing this. Shutting out low-skilled labour will likely lower GDP growth for years to come in Britain's heavily service-focused economy. So fucking what? Why would I, as a worker, give a damn about that? I mean, I'm obviously not now, but I was before I did my YouTube channel. But, why would I care? Why would I give a damn if GDP has gone down? Because, it's a tremendous fear for some reason, left-wing politics that foreigners will go home of their own accord. For example, The Guardian, Poles will return east to higher wages and jobs and the UK will lose out. Hang on, right? They're going to go return east to higher wages because of a lack of labour in Eastern European countries. Because that labour has come to Western European countries through our various open border agreements with the EU to increase the competition for these jobs with our own native low-earning workers. This is not good for our native low-earning workers. That's actually really bad for them. They're going to go back to higher wages because they are needed in their countries. In fact, you could suggest that we are, in fact, impoverishing their countries by allowing this to happen, and also impoverishing our own lower classes in the process. For example, construction pay rises as EU workers way up leaving the UK. Yeah, because apparently something like since the Brexit referendum, it's like 130,000 Eastern Europeans have gone back to Eastern Europe, and now construction pay is up to £45,900 a year. That's fucking fantastic news as far as I'm concerned, because I'm concerned about the construction worker. I'm concerned about the sort of, blue-collar jobs of people who are just getting, they're not like university educated. They're not in the commuter class of London. These are the regular folk of the country who are just making the country what it is, building it literally, and they're being well paid. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a damn good thing. And yet, GDP will go down. Okay, but the wages of the lower earning stratas of society will be increased. So fuck it. Fuck the GDP, man. I really don't give a damn. And of course, this means that job vacancies grow to record levels. So it's become a seller's market for labour. The labourer is the one benefiting from this situation. Oh, but The Guardian, and Bloomberg, but the GDP. Fuck the GDP. I don't care. I don't see who gives a shit about the GDP other than the multinational corporations. Fuck the GDP. I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, well that's, again, I as an employee, I would find that to be a wonderful piece of news. I think it's fantastic that there are more jobs than people to fill them. There aren't actually yet, but this is good. This is generally a good thing, right? The UK pay has been going up dramatically. 3.5% on the year and 3 months to February, according to the Office of National Statistics. That's the joint highest level since mid-2008. Good. Damn good. Again, fuck the GDP, everyone's wages are going up. Oh, but the GDP's down. Don't know. Don't give a fuck. Got more money in my pocket. Got more money to spend. Don't give a fuck about the GDP. And maybe, I'm sure there are going to be economists in the comments going, well, hang on a second. The GDP, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's all true, I'm sure. But fuck the GDP. All right? Because, I mean, like, this is unemployment in the UK. Since the 2008 crash, when it went up to about 8%, 8.5%, now it's down to less than 4%. Why? The Brexit referendum. Hundreds of thousands of people leave. Good. Go home. It's okay to go home. You got higher wages in Eastern Europe, by the way, now. So that's all good. But the thing is, despite the uncertainty for Brexit, in April, this was, the UK was the top of the global rankings, the best investment destination for business. Because we are a competitive country. We're a commercial country. We want to do business. We attract businesses by having good resources, good human resources, competitive tax rates, etc., etc. Like I said, I'm not an economist, but all of these things add up, and this is all good for the regular person in the country. If businesses are coming here and creating jobs, again, if you are selling your labour, that's good for you. Fuck the GDP. But actually, our living standards are going down. Actually, it's all bad, according to The Guardian. It's believed that this is caused by a stagnation in productivity. Well, maybe productivity will rise now that people's wages are rising. Now that it seems worth putting in the extra work, maybe people's wages will go up. Maybe the overall standard of living will rise. Who knows? I'm sure it's exactly as bad as they say. Because, I mean, like, in every other facet, it seems that everything's going really well. It's 16th of July, so this is just last month. UK pay growth strong despite economic slowdown fears. Yeah, you keep saying, oh, by the way, I mean, Brexit's going to be a catastrophe. We're all going to die. We're all going to be impoverished. It's going to be basically post-apocalyptic, except everyone's like, well, hang on, where's all this money coming from? Why is everyone making loads of money? We just can't understand it. We were conditioned to think that GDP was the measure of wealth in a country, not the amount of money that's actually in people's pockets. I mean, no deal Brexit is going to plunge Britain into a recession. Yeah, okay, maybe. Maybe it will. Maybe. I find it unlikely, because I think that we'll be able to make up all the shortfall from the Anglosphere, especially with Donald Trump in the driving seat. But let's just assume that all of these companies are like, you know what, fuck this trade, fuck it all, we don't need this, we're all going to ruin each other just because we're absolutely too insufferable and too stubborn to come to an agreement, if this is what it comes to. Okay, fine. We'll figure it out, won't we? We're obviously going to be able to figure this out. And even if we do, there are options. There are many, many options that we will have once we will become independent. And I really hate the sort of Labour refrain on this, the Jeremy Corbyn, I don't want us to become an offshore tax haven where people aren't paying taxes and there's loads of business and wealth. Why? That's good for everyone, isn't it? Like, everyone's like, oh, Monaco, God, I hate Monaco. It's just so shit with all these yachts. Fucking hell, man. Like, it's good for the working person if we pay less taxes. I don't know why this is so difficult, but I tell you what, it's not all gravy, right? Because the Dutch have stolen our crown in recent days. In fact, no, this is the 30th of April. No, I think. Let's just assume this was afterwards. I'm not going to go back and check the dates. But yeah, we're in heavy competition with the Dutch on this, which honestly I'm fine with. But basically, what I'm saying is everything's going surprisingly well, right? And because our economy is booming, and Europe's is not, by the way, Germany's on the verge of recession, France is at 8% unemployment and struggling, obviously, with the various problems France has, especially with its massive contributions to the EU. And because we're doing so well, our contribution to the EU has risen by 20%, because our economy is propping up Brussels' budget. Fuck the EU. Fuck the GDP, fuck the EU. Like, if what I'm describing here is Steve Bannon's economic nationalism, then call me an economic nationalist, right? Because fuck the EU. Fuck this kind of elitist mindset that looks at things top down and has total ignorance for the conditions of the people underneath it. Fuck this. And fuck them stealing more money out of our pockets just because we're doing well. You know, are they not aware that we're leaving? I mean, look at this, right? An eye-popping 15.5 billion was sent across the channel in the year ending March 31st, compared with 12.9 billion the year before. The extra money would be enough to put more than 50,000 more police officers on the streets. But Sadiq Khan's a Remainer, so fuck them. Or fund 81,000 social care beds. But Jeremy Corbyn's now a Remainer, so fuck them, right? I mean, we could actually be doing good things for the people of Britain with the money that we send to the European Union, but we don't, because we send it to a bunch of shitheels in Brussels who are just there sapping cash from us, and we've got no way of holding them accountable. I can't believe there is a single Remainer left in the country. I cannot, honestly, I'm just staggered by this. But anyway, Brexiteers said that the increase was yet more evidence that Britain must leave the EU as soon as possible to stop taxpayers' money pouring into the bottomless EU coffers. No shit. No shit. Why wouldn't you? What's the justification? Oh, we're doing really well. Oh, what's happening? The EU's taxing us more. Fuck the EU. Brexit was a moral good, and an economic good, and a political good, and we should embrace it wholeheartedly.